Hey, this is Bond Diesel, and I am going to do a quick and rough run through of the new Division 2 story trailer we got today. So let's just jump right in.
I never pictured my first trip to DC would be like this.
Okay. So here we go. First trailer. We saw some enemies at the beginning. Who knows who they are? All we know about still, I believe, is the True Sons. So that's who we'll stick with. But I believe we see a few other factions here through the trailer. So we have, you know, the classic reflecting pool angle here with the Washington Monument in the back. And I have to say this is looking rather lush.
After we survived the initial attack in New York, our capital needed us.
So here are the people I was talking about. I'm not, the one thing I am willing to say is that this appears to be similar to the concept art that had the enemies standing on a truck with a green haze or gas behind them. That makes more sense because if you look, they've got red and green smoke grenades on their chest and on their hip, and they're wearing gas masks. So I'm assuming in some capacity they're using those.
With the country slipping into civil war, who can we trust?
Here it appears to be the White House, and boy, that looks like a base of operations to me. But we shall see. It's at least some kind of highly fortified area with armed people all over the place. Very cool.
After months of resilience, we have survived the virus outbreak that...
So I've seen some people already saying that's the president. If I remember correctly from Division 1, I thought it was fairly clear he was dead, so I don't think we should assume that's the president off the bat. That could be anyone who's in some leadership position, a vice president or so on and so forth. And I believe there was some footage of the president, and I don't think he looked like that, but I could be wrong, and we'll have to wait and see.
crippled our country.
Outside those walls, it's predictable.
Is that our new Rick Velassi? I think that's our new Rick Velassi. Let's go. What I'll say about this still right here is all over the place. The agents have masks on, and we see that yellow stuff. We've been seeing this yellow stuff in a lot of the advertising, and I'm really curious to what that is still. It appears to be bad. They have to wear their masks for some reason, and I highly suspect that that gets worked on and talked about more as we go forward.
Whatever you're doing out there.
That right there appeared to be a rocket. So I'm assuming that there may be some kind of faction that has various weapons, including potentially a rocket launcher of some type that definitely outclasses the grenade launchers the LMB had, and even the heavy we saw in the well-known footage from E3 now with the heavy that had a grenade launcher. A missile launcher seems to step that up a bit.
I'm not feeling it in here.
But the fight to save our nation from total collapse is far from over.
Get down! Everybody get down!
Ruthless factions.
So we saw that faction right there. Now we see this guy. So we know that there's going to be this new kind of class of heavies in the game from the demo. And now we see this heavily armored guy, but he's using a sledgehammer. And he appears to look a lot different than the other one, but he's still wearing a similar type of bomb suit.
Threaten to destroy the very fabric of our democracy.
So that scene there with the dead people down in the tunnel is giving me some idea that we may be dealing with some more nefarious people than just, you know, some crazy rioters and some angry Rikers. Here's a good shot of what appears to be the same gas faction. They've got bags on their side. I don't know if those are like the grenade bags from Division 1 that some of the people would carry. They have what appear to be like riot helmets or ballistic helmets of some type, and they have what also appear to be the type of collapsible batons that police carry. They're also wearing police Kevlar vest, and the one in the back has a gas mask instead of the normal one. So I don't see a grenade bag on that person. So I assume we're seeing different archetypes in whatever faction this is.
Roving packs of hyenas, religious outcasts.
So we heard him say roving packs of hyenas. We'll have to see what that fleshes out for. This is something I think is interesting. People actually wanted it in Division 1, I believe. He says it's raving, fanatical, religious, sects, and it seems like this may be one of those. It seems like it's definitely one of the new factions. So we have the True Sons we know about. We have this gas faction. Now we have this religious zealot faction.
And depraved fascists.
So this here appears to be the True Sun, so I'm assuming they're not revealing anything new here. The one interesting thing I find is this guy right in the middle. So he's definitely not one of the huge giant heavies that has the whole bomb squad suit on, but he appears to have like the top half of it without the arms. So I'm assuming this is some kind of replacement for the heavy LMG units that we would see in Division 1.
Prey on the weak and murder the innocent.
So this here appears to be maybe the religious zealot faction of some type. It appears he has a gas tank taped to his chest with a remote bomb, remote detonator. So it looks like we are going to have suicide units this time in Division 2.
For Division agents still struggling to hold this country together, it's time we kick.
That right there is super cool. I believe this is the Air and Space Museum, and seeing that ramped up, even if it's a bit scripted, environmental destruction and change where the space shuttle gets blown off of its holdings, I think is really interesting. What I also think is interesting is if you look to the left through this whole trailer, if you go back and watch the cosmetics on the characters, it seems like there's a huge variety, and it seems like it's a lot more military oriented, maybe not quite as regular clothing oriented.
Take our enemies out of their castles. We will not compromise. We will never surrender.
This is our defining moment. Our chance to take back our country. Our chance to shape history.
Okay. So this has to be talked about. So I don't know who this guy is. At first I thought it was the guy who's speaking at the beginning. I don't think it is. This looks like it's some kind of base or something. My initial thought goes to, holy crap, is this the Pentagon? We're under some kind of impression that there is this enemy within that's been talked about in the beginning. And then with what we see next,
terminate any division agents with extreme prejudice.
We see these fellas. So I think everyone's initial reaction was, holy crap, that's the new hunters. But if you look on his visor, which has reflections, I'm wondering if that's actually rendered in game or if that was just for the trailer. If you look at his goggles, his chest, it says the Black Tusk. They have these digital readouts on their shoulders. Obviously, it definitely looks a whole lot like the Shade Agents. Orange, rings and all that, except it's a blue diamond, and they seem heavily equipped with body armor and all kinds of crazy stuff. They've got backpacks, extra weapons. I'm going to guess, my assumption is that these are not actually the hunters. I'm going to guess these guys are the replacement for the LMB of some type. I'm gonna guess these are the troops directly from this enemy within. They're, you know, special forces, super elite of some type, have equipment that is similar to ours. If you look on his shoulder, he has what kind of looks like Shade Tech. It looks a little more basic. It's not quite as neat and tidy. You've got exposed wiring, you've got, you know, ribbon wiring and stuff like that, but it looks very similar. So I'm gonna guess that we won't necessarily maybe be dealing with rogue agents as much this time in the story, but more so dealing with literally a whole faction who is similarly equipped to ourselves, if not more so, and they look super cool. And then the final little announcement here. It's something I predicted yesterday in my video about the little teaser they gave us. We have the private beta announced for February 7th through the 10th. So we've got that a couple weeks away. I've seen a few things saying that the Xbox may actually get it a day early, or that could have just been a typo for all we know. We do not know that yet. So that is about 3 weeks away, Thursday. I think this trailer was great. I've seen some chatter that people think, you know, didn't show off enough mechanics and things like that. They very clearly described this as a story trailer. I'm also seeing some boo birds out there of people who I, you know, think just won't be happy no matter what, or people who actually don't want the game to do well. And that's just what you're dealing with a new game. It's the same thing when Destiny 2 came out. It's going to be the same thing when Anthem comes out. There's always going to be people who don't want people who are hyped to be hyped, and that's just the way it is. I think this trailer was really neat. I'm sure there's stuff in here I didn't even actually really notice or didn't cover. I suspect I'll be scouring a bit, even if it's just to get some cool screenshots and so on. There's some really good potential in here for some wallpapers and so on and so forth. So there's the video. I appreciate you listening. Go check out the video for yourself. I'll try and make sure to put a link at the bottom for the actual trailer so you can watch it without hearing my dumb voice. Be sure to check me out. I'll be talking about this on stream. I'm sure more information coming forward on Twitch. I'm BonDiesel on there. You can find me on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch as BonDiesel. And yeah, that's what I have this time. So with that said, until next time.